program. I went to the county commissioners and told them we were going to start a K-9 program, but I also told them I wasn't going to ask them for any money to do that. We went out to the general public and the local businesses and so forth, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. They stepped up, donated money, donated their time to help get money for the program, and we're able to do that. And we're able to get enough money to buy the dog and put the dog and the deputy through K-9 Family School. And so tonight there'll be several awards given out, or certificates, I should say. I'm going to swear Profi in, as I indicated, as commissioned deputy, and then the deputy himself will be sworn in as a K-9 handler. In addition to that, Profi will receive citizenship because he came from Belgium, and so now a U.S. citizen, and or will be shortly. So anyway, those of you who've seen the dog, I think you'd agree with it. It's a beautiful dog. I want to thank the Legion for having us at this location and putting on, sorry, the Grange. And the Grange has been very good to us on a number of occasions, and so has the Legion, but the Grange have been really good to us. And thank you for all the hard work you put into this. And I want to thank the media people that are here tonight, Lou, Marcella from the Sentinel, and I know we have Nancy with cable, he's here, and I believe somebody was supposed to show up from the Enterprise. If you're here, just raise your hand. Oh, okay, thank you. Sure. And so we have the media interested in this program as well. And I'm also proud to see two members of the Yakima County Sheriff's Office here. Ed and Ty, raise your hands. Appreciate you coming. And we might add, we have a good relationship with Yakima Sheriff's Office, Skamania County Sheriff's Office, Benton County Sheriff's Office. And I even offered to cross-commission these folks if their sheriff will allow it. And one of the reasons I think they came because they wanted to prove to their sheriff I was wearing my cowboy hat. So that's part of being sheriff, I guess. Anyway, we'll get on with the ceremonies here. Gavin, I think what we'll do is swear you in first as a K-9 handler. Just read that and follow. Okay, I'll have you raise your right hand again. I, Gavin Marble, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington, and that I will, to the best of my judgment, skills and ability, truly and faithfully, diligently and impartially, perform and discharge the duties of Office of K-9 Deputy Handler in and for Lickitat County, Washington, according to law, so help me God.
Kids and dogs. Now I got his attention. Sit.
Profi,
I, Profi,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington,
and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Washington,
and that I will, to the best of my judgment,
and that I will, to the best of my judgment,
skills, and ability,
skills, and ability,
truly, faithfully, diligently,
truly, faithfully, diligently,
impartially,
impartially,
perform and discharge the duties
perform and discharge the duties
of the office of K-9 Deputy
of the office of K-9 Deputy
in and for Clinton County, Washington, according to law.
in and for Clinton County, Washington, according to law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Okay, now I got some citizenship. Okay. It is my honor, citizenship certificate that honors and is bestowed upon K-9 Profi in recognition of the behavior and valuable service rendered to Clinton County, Washington. You are now a U.S. citizen. I do have one other item here. Karen, would you come on up here? And she's going to read something on behalf of Profi and Gavin.
So Gavin, Profi and I had a really long conversation the other night, and Profi said, and Profi wanted me to share this with you. So, Almighty God, whose great power and eternal wisdom embraces the universe, watch over my handler while I sleep. Protect my handler from harm while I am unable to do so. I pray. I'm gonna cry. Help me keep our streets and homes safe while my handler and I rest. I ask for your loving care because my handler's duty is dangerous. Grant my handler your unending strength and courage in his daily assignments. Dear God, protect my handler, grant your almighty protection, unite my handler safely with the family after our tour of duty has ended. I ask nothing for myself.
You know, I apologize to everybody here. Normally at any meeting we start, we do the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's stand and do that. Never too late. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Sandy, if you don't mind, would you say a prayer for us?
Oh, you mean you couldn't hear me? Thank you for bringing each person here and them safe and bless this adventure we're off onto and thank you for giving us this wonderful dog. And in Jesus' name, amen.
And again, thank everybody that's involved in donating money to this program. It's going to be an ongoing program of donations and fundraisers. And the reason for that, the budget is earmarked for the K-9, doing nothing but that. But the whole purpose for that is if some tragedy, bless God, that doesn't happen, but if Profi was disabled or wasn't able to perform any longer, we'd be able to immediately replace Profi with another dog. And not only that, we need money to maintain the program throughout the year and year after year after. So if you know somebody to be willing to donate to the program, get a hold of Karen or Gavin or any one of us at the Sheriff's Office, and we'll be happy to do that. But again, thanks everybody. We had businesses donate, a number of businesses, and farm bureaus, and just a lot of people. Dry-side relative, one. I'm going to forget somebody, I'm sure. but there was a number of businesses. The BNSF was a big donator. Yakima Klickitat County Farm Bureau donated a chunk of money. There's been a number of them. I apologize if I've missed any business or individuals. There's just a laundry list of folks that have stepped up and helped us get this program together. Might add, it was over $28,000 for the purchase of the dog and the training and everything that went into that academy. And that's just a portion of the program. And we were able to do that through everybody's help. So thank you, and it proves that we have outstanding citizens in our community that are willing to step up and be part of a program. So the Profi belongs to all of you, assigned to us, so it's a good deal. What I'll do at this point, Undersheriff, do you have anything you want to say?
No, but I'm not sick.
I thought he was looking at my cowboy hat. Well, at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Gavin, and he'll put on the program and tell you what he's gone through to get to where he's at today. And I might want to say one thing. Not only we have outstanding law enforcement officers in our agency, and throughout our jail, our control board in the jail, our custody staff, our front office staff, our deputies out in the field, these people are amazing. They're hard workers, they're professionals, and I'm proud to be part of that organization. And Gavin came to Mike and I. He's relatively a new deputy with us. He's not a brand new deputy as far as experience. He was in Washington County for a while and so forth. But he came to us relatively as a new deputy, lateraled in. And right off the bat, he started talking about a K-9 program. And he, on his own, he went out and did research and documents and bought the program to us. We talked about it as an administration and said, yes, there is a need for a K-9 in our department. Because it not only could save an officer's life or a citizen's life, but somebody that gets lost, this dog can find him. And he'll go through all that with you. But anyway, I'm very proud to be part of it.
Hello, my name is Gavin Marble. You want to pin it on? So, Sheriff's Honor and Mike asked me to put together a PowerPoint presentation, so I'll just go through the slides, and there'll be a time for questions and answers at the end, and after that we'll show you a couple things. Might go outside and show you an article search, which is just an evidence search or an article search. Bad guys throw stuff as they're running. We go back, we track them, catch them, come back, and we find the stuff that they threw out. So. If you want to stick around afterwards, we can go outside and do that. In here, it'd be pretty obvious he'd just sight it with his eyes, but out there in the dark, he'll do it with his nose. So we'll just start on the thing and see how long he sits there. I don't know how to turn the TV on, because there's Beasley can reach it. Yeah, see, I can't reach that high. Now you can see what my computer looks like here. So this was just a couple weeks ago at the Dallasport Airport. Army was flying through, so just an intro photo. I had to push enter. Operator error. KCSO K-9 Profi, Clickitat County's newest and fastest deputy. It's only got me beat by a couple of seconds. So a little bit about him. He is originally probably from the Netherlands, is where he called home the most of the time, but was probably originally born in the Czech Republic. There's not really any proof how they do things in Europe is, where do you want a dog from and how old do you want him to be? Oh, okay, that's great, because all our dogs are from there and that old. So he's somewhere between 2 and 3 years old. He is a Belgian Malinois cross, more than likely with a German Shepherd. I tell people he's probably 80-20 or 90-10. Probably more on the 90-10 side just by body shape and size, as well as his mentality. And the 10% is all in his fur, his Shepherd fur. So we'll get to a little bit about that later. He's about 74 pounds right now. We need to thicken him up just a shade. And he does love the bite game, as you saw with the tug toy. So the training that he has been through, he went through extensive training growing up. They train dogs from about the age of 8 weeks over there, just to establish drives in them and to build the drives that they have naturally. And so the selection, the company that we use for the selection process, they view about 100 dogs for every dog that they select and bring back over here. So, but those aren't just dogs. It's not like, hey, let's go to the pound, okay, there's 100 dogs at the pound. These are dogs that have been bred off. These are dogs that have been bred, trained, retrained, 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 over and over and over again, and then by the time that the vendor that we used selected him, they viewed about 100 dogs to go through, and they selected him from that. Off. Off. So you'll hear me say off a lot. Off is stop whatever it is that you're doing and look at me. Pay attention to me. So if he's looking at someone else and getting intense, then he gets encouraged to look back at me and be intense. The Criminal Justice Training Center requirements for a patrol dog team, so that's myself and him, would be a patrol dog team, is 400 hours. So that's 10 weeks at 40 hours a week of training. We completed that in December. We'll get to that in a second. In addition to that, there's another 240 team hours for narcotics detection. So when he will be trained in narcotics detection, so he'll be what's called a dual purpose dog. So he'll be patrol and narcotics detection. So he'll be trained in the 4 narcotics, the 4 biggest narcotics: methamphetamine, cocaine, heroin, and I'm blanking. Opioids, that's heroin. Amphetamines, methamphetamines, cocaine. Yeah, there's 4 of them. Anyway, not marijuana. You will not be trained in marijuana. He passed his patrol certification about 8.5 weeks through the 10-week class. He was the highest scoring dog in the class. Not that we kept scoring. Chill, that's for you, dude. Relax. We graduated from the class on December 20th. And since then, the state requires an average of 4 hours a week, 4 hours per week of training in the discipline that the team is trained in. So right now, that's 4 hours a week for us. Once he's narcotic detection trained, like Harley, for Goldale Police, that'll be an additional 4 hours a week. per week for training. So it'll be 8 hours per week for training once we get back. Where he lives? Just kidding. He doesn't live in the chopper. That's his new kennel. Those of you that showed up to help build that, thank you so much. We put that up in 2 days. This is the end of day 1. You can see the interior cage inside the exterior cage there. That went up day 2, as well as the trim and stuff. But he lives at home with me and my family who are here. They have put up with me and my passion, so thank you, Megan. The boys, it's easier for the boys, yeah. Although he did get one of Josiah's toys today, so thanks, Jojo. He gets along with our other house dog, who's outweighs him by about 30 pounds. But they're pretty entertaining. He does love our cats as well. They do not share the emotion. But he is thoroughly in love with watching them very, very intensely, wherever they go. He sleeps in his crate in the garage right now. When summer hits and it's a little warmer at nighttime, he'll go ahead and stay in the kennel. There's an interior portion of that as well. What he does, so he can do area searches. So this was an on-lead area search at training. This is actually the first picture we have of him at training. It's the first picture of he and I together. If you look along that wall of the wood stacks right there, you'll see a round object right at the base of that black part. That's the head of the lead trainer in the bite suit. So he's just sniffing his way along there, and he did find Carl and bite him. So, on that one. He does subject searches, so looking for people, both two-ways tracking and air scenting, and a lot of, if we're on a track, both of those things will happen. He'll follow the track until that person's rafts, which is just skin cells and hair follicles and smells that fall off of you by the millions every day, until those get so intense that and come out and go off. He can start air scenting, and his head pops up. Hold this for a second. There's a noticeable change in behavior, which is what an alert is. So when he alerts on a subject or an item, you'll see that later. Just give me a turn. He'll alert on that, but he can search areas for subjects or tracks for subjects, both bad guys and lost individuals. So lost person tracks, handler protection he's really good at. Part of the Criminal Justice Training Center certification test is handler protection, where a guy in a bite suit does a different activity, and then he comes back about 20 feet away from myself and the dog. I go over and contact him, basically stand beside him. And when we're both ready, we communicate to each other, and dog's just watching. He grabs me, and before I could give Profi the bite command and release him from his down stay, he was actually in the air coming for Carl in the bite suit. So I got out, and I had to finish the rest of the word after he was already doing what I was telling him to do. So. Well, he's only got me by 2 seconds, though. And of course, bite the bad guys. That's not Profi. It's just a cool picture. Yeah. I don't even know where that dog is from, but the picture is from memegenerator.net. So, this is Profi at training in the back of the truck. He's pretty mellow. The first characteristic that our vendor looked for in the dogs that they select is sociability. So the way they do that is they grab, tug, pull, flick, tap, touch every part of their body, and if the dog growls, and they're a stranger, they walk up to the dog, if the dog growls, whimpers, whines, bites, does anything, they're out. Doesn't matter what their other prey drives, or toy drives, or food drives, or fight drives are, if they're not social, they don't select them. They're automatically out. So he's very social, as you can tell. There's Lilo. That's his little 100-pound buddy. You'll see a close-up of the fantastic goggle and booty pictures later. So this was us hanging out after a day of training. It was about week 2, I think, that we knew each other. And there's a close-up. He wanted me to ask if that made his nose look big. So the need, Klickitat County is 1,904 square miles. In the counties bordering Klickitat, at the time that this was made, Yakima, you guys are here, you guys have dogs. Benton County also has dogs. But you have 3 dogs? 3 patrol or?
2 patrol, 1 dark.
Sweet. We're hanging out next Monday, by the way, from the training. My sergeant approved it as I was driving here. It was just before. So everything in the Columbia River Gorge, there's not a single patrol dog east of the Clark County line and the Multnomah County line in Oregon or Washington until you get to us. So that is a huge area that totals the combined counties, which would be Hood River County, Wasco County, Sherman County, Klickitat County, Skamania County's dog just retired. This total square miles is 12,562 square miles. It's kind of big. So there's a huge need for a dog like him. We have the second most traveled north-south drug corridor on the west coast by Interstate 5, that being Highway 97. Yeah, come on, you guys share that with us then. Buddies in that. So, how you can help, obviously, get a drink. You're not getting your toy. You're doing super good up there, I'm impressed. Financial, obviously. That's the quickest, easiest way. There will be a continued need for support of the program, as well as building the reserves in case there is an accident or an injury where he has to go off duty. Hey. Off. Equipment. Tugs, which are the toy that we're playing with right here. Ah, too close. So these are just hose tugs. Since we graduated from Academy in December 20th, this is his 3rd one. The other 2 are not nearly as sticking around as this one. He can chew through anything pretty darn quickly. So if I tell people if I put a steak on the floor and this tug on the floor, he wouldn't even see the steak. Off. Thank you. He'd just go for the tug. His toy drive is ridiculous, as you can see. He doesn't care about me right now. It's a toy, so. Treats still work. We use treats for training, tracking and article search. We use treats for that as well. So he likes the cheap RS hot dogs from Wally World. So he's very particular on that. The biggest way you can help is just support our sheriff's office in anything, in any way we can. That supports us as well. And then support our supporters. Bob mentioned there's a number of folks, companies that gave, as well as individuals. Find out who those folks are and support them, support their businesses so that, as a thank you for supporting us. Report what you see. If you see something that's suspicious, call the sheriff's office, call the police department, and let us know, and we'll come check it out. That's what we do. Otherwise, we're just, wasting gas. That was a joke. This goes for any animal, but always ask before you pet. Horse, donkey. Horses bite really hard, by the way, often. And so does he. So he's probably not going to, but he's a dog. He does have a brain of his own, and I cannot have complete control of him as much as I would love to say I can. I can't. because I don't know what goes on in that grapefruit-sized brain in there. You're welcome. I know it's probably not that big. But just ask, because there's sometimes when he's into being petted, and there's other times when he's not really excited about the situation because he's nervous or whatever else. So, and say hi. If you see us walking down the road, if you see us driving past, wave. Everybody likes being waved at, so we do too. Please use all your fingers.
Does anybody have questions in regards to Profi's performance that you'd like to ask Gavin about?
Yeah.
He bites the bad guy, how do you think they not fight the kid that got lost?
We did not train, great question.
The question was, wow, it's loud now. The question was, he bites the bad guy when he finds him. How do you train him to not bite the little kid that's lost in the woods on a search and rescue mission? That's super simple. We don't train him to bite on a find. He only bites when I tell him to. Usually. Sometimes he's all about his toy and still doesn't do it. Really, for training purposes, the guy in a bite suit is a 6 foot tall, wiggling, squealing, squeaking, one of those tug toys, often. So, I mean, what better toy could you have than a 6 foot tall, wiggling, squeaking one of those? So, off. Off. Break.
Gavin?
Yeah. It goes a little something like this. This is the Klickitat County Sheriff's Office K-9 unit. This area is being searched by a police dog. Make yourself known. If you do not, the dog will find you, he will bite you, and it will hurt. Pause. We say it again. And typically, the 4 people with the 1 bad guy are going to go, you're out. It's him. So, but no, that's a great question. If we've got 3 guys running, and I want him to bite a certain one, I have to make sure that he's locked onto that specific target. If not, he doesn't go. So it's that simple. Those.
Gavin? Over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple questions. I don't want to overdo it. On the donation, can it be set up for a monthly donation?
Not at this time, but I'll let you know when we can.
Karen is our finance person, so any finance questions, I'm going to go.
Well, one other quick
Yes.
question is, have you ever considered training pit bull?
We don't do the selection.
Oh,
Pit bulls are awesome dogs. They're very emotional dogs.
okay.
That wasn't me, I promise. Who's the speaker? Somebody fed the speaker beans. Look at, he's embarrassed, he's looking away. Pit bulls are super dogs. They're very emotional, so if they're treated poorly, they're emotionally poor. If they're treated well, they're emotionally awesome. Yeah, I can tell you a story about a pit bull that I met at 4 o'clock in the morning when I woke up at somebody's house and he was standing on my chest, staring at me. He just wanted to say good morning, he was fine. I wasn't. Yeah, thanks. Yep.
So, a lot of the time in training is only spent with you and the dog bonding. So, is there any procedure there with incorporating the dog with the rest of your team and your colleagues?
Yes, so we're planning to do a training that would be open to law enforcement officers that respond. Deputies, Golden Dale Police, Binge White Salmon Police, Washington State Patrol Troopers, and area agencies on how to how to act on a dog deployment. So if we do go in an area search, there's two things I will tell my guys right off the bat. Don't be the most interesting thing in the room. Verbally, speech-wise, sight-wise, don't jump up and down, don't point at the bad guy and go, "Show me your hands! Show me your hands!" Because your hand is doing this, and he's gonna pay attention to that. More than likely, he doesn't see the bad guy, he sees the guy moving and screaming. So, what else? What else?
No.
Dad's a jerk. So, there'll be some training for our other law enforcement partners on how to respond, where to be, where not to be. Obviously, this is the business end of the dog, so being right in front of this business end of the dog, when he's intent on finding something to chew on, it's probably a bad place to be. He's just admiring you, Mike. Shined up your star all nice and pretty. Yeah.
So are you giving him commands through like that?
This is an e-collar, yeah. So basically what I tell people is I give him the commands from here. I give him the encouragement to listen to the commands from here. So if he gets, dogs respond to positive or negative correction or reward, their brain works in about 1.3 seconds. So if he does something that I want him to do, and I wait till 2 seconds to reward him for that, he has no idea why I am giving him a high five off. And the same is true with correction. So if I tell him off that time and he hadn't have done it, then I'd just tapped him with it. And you can feel it. It's on a 2 out of 7, and there's low, medium, and high, and I'm hitting him on a low 2. So yeah.
Is he an arrest authority? No. What's his schedule look like? When he's not on a specific
Shift?
call? Yeah.
Yeah, he rides with me. So my schedule is his schedule, and right now we're on patrol. So we rotate. Right now we're on a day shift, and next month we move to nights. So yeah, so he'll just rotate with me. Off. Yes, but we're always available for call out. So when we're off, with a couple exceptions. Obviously, if his chauffeurs had a beer that night, we're probably not coming. Or there was an instance a couple weeks ago that the call didn't really justify off coming out because of the time duration, what it was. It was a minor off. It was a minor deal. It was a warrant, so it was a felony warrant. It was definitely something that we could have gone on, and he would have been justified legally and ethically to actually bite the individual had we found him and they did not give up. But because of the nature of the initial infraction or initial crime that preceded the warrant, as well as the fact that I'd been called out the 2 previous nights and built a kennel the 2 previous days. Just wasn't safe. So, yeah. Off.
What happened if you put your hand down by a food bowl and you eat?
He really doesn't, food is not his drive. He has bitten me 30 times or more in training because I had that in my hand and I didn't get my hand out of the way fast enough or I was moving it. The key to toys is hold it stationary, they'll target lock and they'll hit their target every single time. But I was a brand new handler, I didn't know what I was doing and I did not want to get bit. So I was moving really fast, getting that toy to where I thought it should be, and I wasn't fast enough. So I was 2 seconds late. You spilled, dude. So, yeah. Yeah.
If you're not on patrol and the dog out there, you have a couple of what happens if you get hurt and the dog comes to the ground?
Then he waits till I get better. So another officer cannot take him out unless they're trained with him. as a team. If they're already a certified handler, it's a 5-week requirement together as a team. But if they're not a certified handler, it's a 10-week with a new dog, new handler. So yeah, it's the team training for patrol especially that the state wants to see. Often. I'm right. Yeah.
What's the stop point? When do you call them off? When does the bad guy, in your estimation, when did he have enough?
As far as if he's on the bite, or if he's going to the bite?
I don't know the difference. If he's on to an individual
If he's chewing on someone?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you just let him go a while, or?
Depends on how mad you made me. No, I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. Don't write that in the papers, you guys. Knock that off. That was not true at all, any way, shape, or form. No, basically, he's a tool. He's a tool just like a taser. He's a tool just like a baton on my belt. He's a tool to gain compliance control of the individual to help officers stay safe. That is nuts and bolts down to it. He's way more than that, but that's all he is. He is just another tool that we have as a sheriff's office to use just like everything else that I carry with me. So, if a bad guy doesn't want to give up, doesn't want to comply, I release the dog on him for the totality, based on the totality of the circumstances. Profi makes contact, is biting the individual. My goal is to get control of him as soon as my goal is, hopefully someone else is there, allow that deputy to gain control of the individual. I gain control of the dog. As soon as the individual is under control, and that's through my instructions, my commands, I'm the one that has to communicate with him. Hey, you need to calm down, get your hands behind your back, put your hands behind your back. It's not, excuse me, it's not true every time, but once we get one cuff on, that person is probably pretty much under control. Dog comes off at that point. Yes?
Is it a particular anatomical feature they go for, or do they go for the jugular, or the...
No. His training, they'll go for what's closest, basically, is what it is. So if you're hiding in the bushes, bad guys hiding in the bushes, and the story is, it's a true story. I actually saw the photos of it. The less than intelligent individual, we'll just say it that way, heard the dog announcement commands, decided that he didn't want to give up, he wanted to hide, and he hid head first. Head facing the dog. So the dog grabbed onto said body part and pulled him out of the brush by his head. That does not sound fun to me. But the parts that fit in his mouth are the parts that he's typically going to go for. So arms, legs, shoulders. He jumps high, so he likes to get shoulder blades, shoulders up in there. So, and every dog is different. So Pax, the dog that is on all the fundraiser postcards, Centralia's dog, is ridiculous jumper. He jumps, I think they're brothers, just because they have the same hops, but Pax actually, there was another guy in a bite suit while we were training the last week. We were just rotating through bite suits and getting all the dogs some time on the bite. And Steven's a little bit shorter, right in here. He's still taller than Bob. Not with the hat on though, you got to beat with the hat. But Pax actually, when he left the ground, he jumped. I know I'm getting days off for that one. He jumped up and then had to put his head down to bite Steven on the shoulder. So they can jump. They're athletes. They are athletes. Yeah. Average working dog is between 6 and 9 years. Patrol dogs are typically on the shorter end of that, just because of the wear that they put on their bodies. That's how many years they serve. So age-wise, factor in however old they are when they start into that. But that's a typical lifespan for a patrol dog on patrol, or a working dog on patrol. So yeah, sorry behind. Oh.
That was his question.
That was my question.
Oh, that was your question?
Sorry.
Look at you. Yes.
What happens if you're with another officer and you're down? How do you control the dog? Are you able to
Sure.
you can't-
Eric, you want to come up here real quick? Mike's too scared.
I'll do it.
I know, he's too scared. So the sociability factor that comes in the selection process, he's fine.
How do you get your dog off of that person? If you're the trainer, right? Does he listen to?
I'm not the trainer. I'm not that smart. I'm just the handler.
I know, but how do you make him let go of the guy for something wrong with you and you can't command? Can somebody else command him?
Yep.
Instead of his own
Yep.
dude.
And that's what we'll cover in the class with the other deputies and officers, is how to get the dog off the bite, and what's called a hard out, where you take, he doesn't have his collar, the leather collar's back there, what we use. But there's a way to actually grab the collar, position the dog, and he'll come off the bite. So it's called a hard out. So, yeah.
What language are you speaking to the dog in when you give commands?
Dutch, German, and English. He's trilingual, which is more than me.
What language is off?
I believe off is Dutch. Anybody know? I don't. Is it Dutch? Yeah, so there's somebody's in the back nodding yes. So, because Platz is the same command in German. So, down would be, yeah.
What happens to the dogs when their service life is over?
He gets to come home with me and be bored out of his mind while I go back to work. At least that's what we've kind of talked about. So most patrol dogs, law enforcement dogs, just stay with the family after they retire. So that's pretty typical. Military dogs are a little bit different, but most law enforcement dogs are that way. Yeah.
Why are police dogs usually
Why are police dogs usually males is the question. I know of, is it Yakima that has a female dog? Okay, someone at training last month had a female dog. Oh no, the U.S. Forest Service, or the USDA. He's got a little 54-pound Dutch Shepherd that is a freak show. She is so fast. But usually the drives in the male dogs are the drives that you need for the type of work that they do. You don't see the same thing with narcotics detection dogs because all dogs love toys. That's typically the reward for another dog. So, but for patrol dogs, that's the reason, is that it's rare to find those drives, the fight drive, the prey drive. Toy drive and food drive are the same, but to the level that you find in the male dogs. So, but they are out there. Yeah. Yes, in the back.
Where did he get his name from?
Profi sounds really, I'll be honest, it sounds stupid when you say it in English, but if you say it with an Eastern European accent, it sounds really cool. Profi. Profi. Oh, Profi. It's a nickname, it's a short for professional or expert. I believe it's Czechoslovakian is where that slang comes from. Italian? Who says Italian? Italian. At least that didn't sound French. Yes?
Military officers are trained different. Something happens to the handler, that dog stays on mission when we left. I mean, the rest of the dog is fine. They
military dogs and police dogs, just by nature of the roles that the handlers play, have to be trained differently. And I'm diabetic, so no branch of the military wanted me, even though I mess with some recruiters with that. We have to have that sociability side. A lot of military dogs that I've seen, I've never met them because I don't want to, have zero sociability. If you're not the handler, you're dead, kind of thing. So, and we can't have that when we're going and doing school demonstrations or even like an event like this tonight. So we have to be able to bring him someplace and get him so psychotically focused on his tug toy that he doesn't even know you're in a room. So. Mission accomplished. Any other questions? Yeah. We trained in Centralia, Chehalis area, Rochester, around over there. So the company that we use, Code 4 K-9, the owners, he is the chief of police of Centralia PD right now, and she does. His wife does the obedience side of it, and he does the patrol work side of it, the biting work, tracking, things like the tracking I actually get together. So, yeah. So we went over to the west side and suffered through the west side fall. Soaking wet for 3 weeks straight. Yeah.
Kevin, when you release the dog to chase somebody, is that person going to get bit, or do you have to give an additional command to get the dog to bite? Will it stop somebody from running?
Yeah, I will. I give the bite command when there's justification to give the bite command. If that person is running away and I give him the bite command and they're still running and they stop, they turn around and say, I give up, I stop him, I down him, or I call him back to me.
What happens if the dog and the bad guy are out of your line of sight?
Then I run faster.
The dog catches up with the bad guy. Will he, bark and like corral him, or will he?
No, he'll go on the last command that I gave him, which was the bite command. So he's not as there's a name for that. Basically it's stop and contain, stop and hold command, hold and bark, something like that. That a lot of larger agencies are doing, just to CYA a little bit, and it doesn't work because you can't train a dog to just stand there and bark at something. That's running away or yelling at it or screaming or anything like that. So, yeah, he's going to have that. So it's up to the handler to really maintain as much control as possible in that situation. So, yeah, if he found him, we'll know. Because I screamed a little bit when he bit my hand because I wasn't fast enough, and he let go instantly, so it hurts. I'm not gonna lie. So, yeah. Any other questions? Yep.
Is he trying to alert in any way if you're having a diabetic incident?
No. Nope, not trained along that one. So that's a whole nother way, a level of training. So, yeah.
Do you think there will be some type of training for him in the future?
I don't know. I don't know. So I know they do that. I mean, I know that there's dogs out there that could tell me if I had cancer too. So, but I don't. Probably not, just based on what we have him for, what the sheriff's office has him for. So, seriously, you look like a baby sucking your thumb. These tugs are from a company in California. It's a family company. Off. Off. No, it's just a nylon, it's called a hose tug. K-9 Tactical Gear is where we get our tugs from. They're online. It's a family-owned company out of Northern California that started because there wasn't the quality of K-9 toys in that area, and equipment and stuff like that. So they actually made this harness. They made a bunch of the leather work over there as well. As well. They do really good work. He does. He has a ballistic stab-proof vest. It's the camouflage vest on the table. Dad, if you want to grab that and pull that up. No, Zeke will get it. So that's his ballistic vest. That's twice as much as mine. Obviously, you know where I stand. That was donated by a company as well as the car cooling system that was installed in the truck out there. That was donated by a company called Howl, Hounds on Working Leashes. They're back east, and that's all they do. Is donate protective equipment for law enforcement dogs. So, yeah.
So if you ever go into certain situations, you change that before you
Yep. So normally, this is his everyday uniform right here, what he's wearing. And if we go into a situation where a suspect is just, we think he's got a knife or something like that, but we feel like the dog it would be a benefit in that situation, then I'll put that vest on it. It's got some substantial weight to it, especially if you weigh 74 pounds. You can go over there and lift it up and be able to tell at 74 pounds, an extra 12 to 14 pounds, I think, is about what it weighs. That becomes heavy quick. So, yeah. Any other questions? All right, some come up, find me later, and I'll go from there.
Thank you.
So we'll do, when we have you guys, if your folks are interested in petting him, we'll just have you come up one at a time and pet him, get a photo with him. We'll leave the tug in his mouth because obviously he doesn't care about anything else. We'll do that. So, but just for your safety, again, he's a dog. He's got a brain of his own. I can't imagine he's never done anything in the months that I've known him to demonstrate aggression. But we'll have you pet him behind from here down. Like I said, he's very social. So.
And once you get done petting the dog and everything, Gavin was going to do a demonstration out in the parking lot. And I don't know if you've seen the equipment up here on the table. There's some shoes that he wears. I thought it was kind of interesting, boots. But anyway, I'll turn it back over to Gavin and thank everybody for coming tonight. We're proud to have him part of our department.